Hey, yo, what's up, everybody? Thank you for joining me here at Fin TV. I really do appreciate that. We're going to do some nerdy news for you today. Fin TV bringing you the nerdy news that you need to know. And just in case you forgot, don't forget that if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. Don't forget that if you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. If you have Amazon Prime, you have Twitch Prime. If you have Twitch Prime, I'm the guy that deserves that sub. Give me that sub. I deserve it. One man business here. Give it to me. All right, you guys, let's get into it. Don't forget to like, subscribe, all that good stuff, please, and thank you. We're going to get into it now. We got 12 stories for you, starting with Sony and Bandai Namco teaming up together. Power couple. They're power coupling it. Bandai Namco is definitely the sub, the bottom, and Sony's on top. Big dick energy. Let's get into it, you guys. Story number one. This is coming from Alec Trent over at comicbook.com. Sony and Bandai Namco form 68 billion yen strategic alliance to unlock potential of compelling IP. Japan-based corporate juggernaut Sony and Bandai Namco have announced the formation of a strategic business alliance agreement in which Sony acquired 16 million shares of Bandai Namco. The companies anticipate that by collaborating on various games, anime, and music IPs, that they set the stage to maximize intellectual property value and capitalize on rapid market growth. The deal cost Sony approximately $460 million, or around 68 billion yen, to acquire 2.5% of Bandai Namco. Quote, Bandai Namco and Sony will focus on expanding the fan community for IP such as anime and manga around the world and strengthening engagement, particularly in the anime field where rapid market growth is anticipated, while merging their strengths to create new IP and emotionally moving experiences for fans, and as a result of these efforts, maximize the value of IP, said the Sony statement. Well, so my knee-jerk reaction to this is that it actually worries me just a tiny bit, a super tiny bit. You know, I can't overstate, like, it's a little bit that it worries me. You know, they're only acquiring 2.5%, so it's like, what is that really? But just thinking about Sony's recent history and how they're messing up their own projects, you know, like Concord, the canceled Last of Us multiplayer game, Marathon, and in general, a failed focus to focus on a failed focus on live service games, which I'm absolutely not a fan of. We need less live service games. One live service game that did work for Sony was Helldivers. That worked great. So I think that they're chasing their next Helldivers is what they're doing, and that's not impossible. Look at Elden Ring Night Rain. They did it. They kind of did it. It's not. I don't. That's not like a. I don't think that's technically like a live service game like that. But I mean, it kind of is. And so FromSoft is doing it, and FromSoft is part of Bandai Namco, so I see what they're trying to do, but again, they acquired 2.5%, so I don't know the extent to what all that means. I guess we'll see. And a lot of talk about anime and music, you know, so they're not even talking about a whole lot about games. So yeah, story number 2, you guys. Those are the plans, Aiko. Scott's right. Exactly. Story number 2, you guys. We got Star Wars Outlaw, one of the worst games ever made. in the news. This is coming from Grant Taylor Hill from Insider Gaming. Ubisoft canned Star Wars Outlaws sequel very, very early. In recent Ubisoft news, the company's CEO, Yves Guillemot, suggested that the reason for Star Wars Outlaws' failure was due to a dwindling interest in the brand. The comment drew criticism from gamers worldwide, many of whom were quick to point out the performance issues and gaping holes in Outlaws. Star Wars Outlaws was a monumental flop compared to the expectations put in place from Ubisoft. They have also canceled the sequel. This has nothing. Outlaws being a failure of a video game, a complete flop, has nothing to do with a dwindling interest in Star Wars, and it has everything to do with them making a terrible, generic, open world Star Wars game that could really be any other game. They made a really bad game that absolutely no one was asking for. There's so much good source material for them to pull from. And they just make up a bunch of garbage and garbage characters and a terrible story and slop it all together. Outlaws should have been a hit because that's Ubisoft's bread and butter. An open world single player game, but they themselves have fumbled the IP. It has nothing to do with a dwindling interest in Star Wars. That's crazy. Come on, Ubisoft. Do better. Do better. Hey. Shipping away. Story number 4 is coming from Jordan Middler over at VGC. Itch.io has hidden its entire NSFW games library as payment providers pressure stores. I read that wrong. Itch.io has hidden its entire NSFW games library as payment providers pressure stores. The company says it's working rapidly to resolve the issue. Indie digital game store itch.io has de-indexed its entire NSFW games library from its store. This comes as payment providers have begun scrutinizing NSFW content on platforms such as Steam. While the extent of the changes to the platform isn't currently known, a statement confirms that itch.io is working rapidly to change the way it platforms explicit content. This comes less than a week after Steam introduced a new set of guidelines banning previously permitted explicit content from its platform. The issue began earlier this year when a game titled No Mercy, which promised players they could become every woman's worst nightmare, and featured content including sexual violence and incest. And it was briefly published on Steam and itch.io. That's that shit, man. That's just like ruins it for everybody. Like, come on. The game was widely condemned, with many calling for its removal from these platforms. Itch.io banned the title. However, it remained on Steam. What the fuck? The game's developer Zerat Games defended No Mercy in a widely mocked open letter, writing, "People created videos and spoke with great conviction about things that weren't in the game." This guy's fucking out of his mind. The developer wrote, "Better yet, do some work yourself instead of blindly chasing views. Go fuck yourself." In a statement, itch.io said, "This is a time-critical moment for the platform." The company also apologized for not being able to warn NSFW game developers of the changes, saying that it was not realistic to provide advanced warning. Quote, "We are currently conducting a comprehensive audit of content to ensure we can meet the requirements of our payment processors. Pages will remain de-indexed as we complete our review. Once this review is complete, we will introduce new compliance measures. All right, so this is a pretty deep and complicated issue, actually. This group that they're going by, what are they called? Uh, Collective Shout. This group, Collective Shout, is trying to get rid of a bunch of NSFW video games. But who gets to be the judge as to which games should be banned? Is it all NSFW games, including ones like Cyberpunk 2077 that have brief sex scenes? Or is it games that have LGBTQ characters as main characters? Or is it just the ones that obviously shouldn't exist anywhere because they are blatantly promoting hate and violence? It should be the latter, and we should have had safeguards in place for this stuff a long time ago. Why hasn't there been human beings looking through every single video game being published on a platform and not letting games like fucking No Mercy exist on the platform? It's crazy that it's taken so long that now a religious group has had to step in, and now who knows where things stop. Now this has become an issue of infringement of expression at the hands of a religious group that who knows how far they want to take this. Of course, we should have been getting rid of games like No Mercy that are promoting hate and violence against women. Of course, there should have been human beings looking over these games. I don't know why that was there in the first place. It's fucking crazy. And now it's been that issue has been there for so long that it's taken this group to put things in their hands, and now they're probably going to push this way farther than it needs to be. They're taking down tons of games right now that even just have the word adult or NSFW in the description or title. Games like Adult Simulator, which it's an adult simulator. There's really nothing in the game that make it bannable or whatever. And that game's getting delisted. So yeah, it's a complicated issue. We should have been doing stuff about this a long time ago. It shouldn't have got to this point where now they're fucking delisting big swaths of games. Why wasn't it common sense to not fucking publish a game called No Mercy that's blatantly promoting hate and violence? Why was that there in the first place? And why did it take that being there for so long to get shit moving? And now shit is finally moving. It's being taken too far. Fuck, man. All right, story number 5. This also has to do with the previous story. This is coming from Joseph Allen over at TechRaptor. Indie game Vile Exhumed has been banned. Indie game Vile Exhumed has been banned from Steam due to sexual content. Solo game developer Kara Cadaver has revealed that her indie horror game Vile Exhumed has been banned from Steam, and having played the game myself, I can tell you the reason is a little strange. Speaking on social media, Cadaver says that Vile Exhumed was banned from Steam for sexual content with depictions of real people. As she points out, the game wasn't banned for its use of gore in storytelling or violent themes. The twist? As Cadaver says in her post, the sexual content for which the game was taken off Steam is all implied. There's no explicit depiction of any kind of sexual act within the game. There are plenty of shocking and disturbing images, and the narrative is pretty unsettling, but that's about it. Cadaver says she doesn't want to censor Vile, Exhumed, or make changes to it. She says she will not retell a story about these topics in a way to make people who don't understand it more comfortable. It all stems from a campaign started by activist group Collective Shout regarding a game by the name of No Mercy. An explicit title, the group says, flies in the faces of efforts to address violence against women. The decision to remove Cadaver's game from Steam is frankly bizarre. If the point as collective the decision to remove Cadaver's game from Steam is frankly bizarre. If the point, as Collective Shout sees it, is to address violence against women, then removing a game that directly tackles this theme in a frank and open way seems like a big mistake to me. Of course, it's entirely likely that Steam simply panicked and pulled the plug on any game that might stand even the slightest chance of upsetting its payment processors, even if that game is about as far from flying in the faces of efforts to address violence against women as it's possible to be. So I've never played this game. I've never even heard of it. But if it is what it sounds like, then this is a game with a message about shedding light against abuse and abuse against women. But because of this group, swaths of games are being delisted without any real regard. You know, even though this game has a legit message, a good message is being banned for now because it generally has a topic that they don't want to be dealing with anymore. That's pretty crazy. Moving on to story number 6, you guys. We got Mind's Eye. Mind's Eye, another terrible fucking game in the news. This is coming from Rebecca Valentine over at IGN. Mind's Eye developer delays Hitman crossover update. Says update may be less. Mind's Eye developer delays Hitman crossover update. Says updates may be less frequent going forward. A planned crossover event between Hitman and Mind's Eye have been delayed indefinitely, while developer Build a Rocket Boy says future updates may be less frequent. This was announced today on the Mind's Eye official website. In the post, the developer says the following: "We apologize that the release of the Hitman Mind's Eye mission, originally scheduled for July, has been postponed to a later date. We look forward to delivering this exciting crossover when the time is right and will provide further updates as soon as we're able." The update also says moving forward, updates may be less frequent, but with the aim for each to bring more meaningful changes. Updates are still planned for August and September, but the developer says that these are focused on performance improvements and bug fixes rather than content. Originally, the Hitman crossover was planned to bring Agent 47 to Red Rock City, though it's unclear exactly what would have entailed. The crossover came about thanks to Hitman publisher IO Interactive also publishing Mind's Eye, but no details on the content update have been shared since its announcement in June. Mind's Eye's release thus far has been a disaster for Build a Rocket Boy. The game originally came with high expectations thanks to its studio being led by former Rockstar North employees, including GTA co-creator Leslie Benzies. However, the game itself received poor reviews, including a 4 out of 10 from IGN. and mixed Steam reviews that largely criticized the game's poor performance, bugs, glitches, and other major issues. This entire game, everything and everyone around it is a huge joke. From blaming people getting paid to review this terrible game badly, to the disgusting Hitman DLC that was talked about way too long at the Summer Games Fest, to the fact that the entire game just looks like generic slop. I'm willing to bet that this Hitman bullshit gets canceled. Fuck Mind's Eye. What a terrible game. This next story is cool though. I like this story. This is coming from Amy Hart and Michael McWhirter over at Polygon. Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan teases new sci-fi show in the weirdest way. There's been a major hype building around Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan's new sci-fi series. And now, after years of bits and pieces of information being released in the press and a days-long countdown, we finally have our first look. Should have got another little picture ready for this. There we go. Okay, let me start that one over. Biggie, calm down, please. Okay. Breaking Bad, Biggie. Stop. Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan teases new sci-fi show in the weirdest way. There's been a major hype building around Breaking Bad creator Vince Gilligan's new sci-fi series, and now, after years of bits and pieces of information being released in the press and a days-long countdown, we finally have our first highly unusual look at Pluribus. What Gilligan's fans got was certainly unexpected. Apple TV's first teaser for Pluribus shows a woman in a medical scrubs licking donuts from a box one by one and putting them back, implying that she's doing so maliciously. A sign posted under those donuts reads, "Help yourself," and features a drawn smiley face. Beyond that, the 19 seconds of footage only appears to reveal that Pluribus will be set in Maryland, based on a state flag visible, and the provider of those donuts, Sandy Pony Donuts, which has locations in Maryland, Delaware, and Virginia. The only description for Pluribus that Apple has offered in this is, quote, "The most miserable person on earth must save the world from happiness." Whatever that means. Described previously by Gilligan in an interview with Deadline as a grounded genre drama. Pluribus is led by actor Ray Seahorn, best known for her betrayal as Kim Wexler in Better Call Saul. Gilligan said that he wrote the lead role for Pluribus with Seahorn in mind. Cool. I'm excited for that. I'm totally excited for that. Moving on to story number 8. 8, 9, 10. I think we got like 3 more stories, you guys. We got Airbud. This is a fun one. This is coming from Zach Sweeson over at Kotaku. The 15th Airbud film is coming, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. Airbud Returns starts filming this year and will arrive in theaters in 2026. The seal is broken. The curse has returned. The suffering begins soon. That's right, folks. We are getting a new Air Bud film in 2026. This will be the 15th entry in the franchise, and there's nothing you can do to stop it. On July 24th, Cineverse and Air Bud Entertainment announced plans to produce Air Bud Returns, a new theatrical film installment in the long-running family-friendly franchise that started back in 1997 with the OG Air Bud. That's the one that's in my heart. That movie was independently produced and then picked up by Disney and went on to become a big hit, spawning 14 sequels and spin-offs. Yes, that's not a typo. There have been 14 follow-ups to a movie about a dog that plays basketball. Weirdly, most of them have nothing to do with basketball. Air Bud Returns is being written and directed by Robert Vince. He was a producer on the original Air Bud film. Air Bud Returns is being written and directed by Robert Vince. He was a producer on the original Air Bud film in the 90s and then produced all 14 sequels, as well as writing and directing 10 of them. Here's the official synopsis of the upcoming movie, which is set to start filming this summer in British Columbia, Canada. In Air Bud Returns, 12-year-old Jacob has always dreamt of being a star basketball player. After the passing of his father, that dream felt even more impossible. But everything changes when he and his mom move into his dad's childhood home in Fernfield. There, Jacob discovers an original VHS of the Air Bud movie in his father's belongings and has a chance meeting of a stray golden retriever he names Buddy. Together, they embark on a journey of healing, unite a team of misfits, and chase a championship. Through it all, they learn to play from the heart, believe in each other, and always take the shot. Air Bud Returns isn't just another sequel or remake, it's a unique story, said Vance in a press release. This movie will engage nostalgic Air Bud fans while introducing a new generation to the beloved basketball playing golden retriever, Buddy. It builds upon the legacy of the OG Air Bud with all the fun, the magic, heartwarming scenes, and Buddy playing basketball. More than anything, it's a deeply human story about a dog and a boy. I love that. Centered on themes of adaptation, redemption, and teamwork. I'm excited for this. I loved the OG movie as a kid, so I can't wait to see that basketball playing, vanilla pudding eating, golden retriever back in action. Moving on to story number 9, you guys. This one's funny too. This is coming from Mike Straw at Insider Gaming. Travis Scott is removed from WWE 2K25 DLC after a falling out. Travis Scott, one of the largest names in hip hop today, was supposed to be in WWE 2K2025. From the looks of it, however, that no longer appears to be the case. According to the Wrestling Observer, Scott and the WWE had a falling out in recent months. This led to his removal as a surprise celebrity DLC character for WWE 2K25. Instead of Scott, El Grande Americano was recently released as a downloadable addition to the game's roster this September. Recently announced. El Grande Americano will replace the New Wave Pack's celebrity guest, 2K announced earlier in July. Well, from doing a little research, Travis was not committed to his role in the WWE. He was skipping training, and they're saying that he was just not a quick learner in the business of wrestling. See ya, Travis Scott. No more wrestling for you. A few more stories here. This is coming from Andy Robinson over at VGC. Techland has delayed Dying Light, the Beast, just 4 weeks before it was due to release. The spin-off will now release on September 19th. Excuse me, sorry about that. Techland has delayed Dying Light, the Beast, just 4 weeks before it was due to release. The spin-off will now release on September 19th instead of August 22nd, the developer announced on Friday. According to Techland, the short delay will allow it to further polish the game. Quote, it has always been our goal to make Dying Light the Beast the best Dying Light game we've ever released. To honor this promise, we've made the decision to move the release date to September 19th, 2025 to allow for extra polishing work, it said. According to Techland, the additional 4 weeks will allow it to fine-tune gameplay elements, look into the clarity of the game's UI, increase the quality of physics, and tweak cutscenes and player animations. Dying Light the Beast will be released for PC, Xbox One, Xbox Series X and S, PS4, and PS5. Hey, it's just 4 weeks, and if they need the time, take it. No big deal. Story number 11. 2 more stories, you guys. This is coming from Wesley Yinpool over at IGN. Star Wars reveals first still from Maul Shadow Lord. In a post from StarWars.com, Lucasfilm revealed the first still from Maul Shadow Lord below. Let me start that one over. Star Wars reveals first still from Maul Shadow Lord. In a post on StarWars.com, Lucasfilm revealed the first still from Maul Shadow Lord. Announced at Star Wars Celebration Japan in April, Maul Shadow Lord is a brand new Disney Plus series featuring fan favorite villain Darth Maul. It sees Sam Witwer reprise his role as Darth Maul from Star Wars Rebels and Star Wars The Clone Wars. The new series is set after the final season of The Clone Wars and will see Maul plotting to rebuild his criminal syndicate on a planet untouched by the Empire. Expect it to be out at some point in 2026. Cool. Darth Maul is one of the coolest characters ever, so I'm hyped up to see this. Last story, you guys. Last story. This one's funny. This is coming from Kenneth Shepard over at Kotaku. Marvel Rivals gives Human Torch new ability. Players immediately use it for evil. The Fantastic Four have been in Marvel Rivals for a hot minute, but as Fantastic Four First Steps enters theaters, the titular heroes have gotten a few new updates. They have skins based on their movie counterparts, and now there's a new team-up ability for the Human Torch and the Thing. If you've seen the movie, you know that there's a scene in which Johnny Storm flies Ben Grimm over New York City and sends him barreling into an enemy with fire-powered momentum. Well, Marvel Rivals lets you and a friend reenact this maneuver in the hero shooter, and while it has some strategic advantages, some Human Torch players have decided instead to use it to troll their Thing-playing friends. The Human Torch / Thing team up lets Johnny pick up Ben and then send him into a group of enemies to wreak havoc on them and gain control of an objective. However, not all of the applications of this move are strategic, as it also gives the Human Torch player complete control over the duo while they are in the air. This means that if you're playing as the Thing and your flying friend isn't trustworthy, they can just drop you off the side of the map. Dropping someone off the map is one thing, but even if you have a Human Torch player who isn't going to send you falling off into a chasm if they don't have the same great gaming sense. If they don't have the same great gaming sense, they might throw Ben into a scrap he can't win. So you're putting your life into your teammates' hands with this one. Hopefully, this self-sabotaging behavior doesn't last too long, or it is at least kept between duos who know each other and can scream into each other's voice chat, while the rest of, oh man, let me start that over. I read that fucking terribly. Dropping someone off the map is one thing, but dropping someone off the map is one thing. But even if you have a Human Torch player who isn't going to send you falling into a chasm, if they don't have great gaming sense, they might throw Ben into a scrap he can't win. So you're putting your life into your teammates' hands with this one. Hopefully, this self-sabotaging behavior doesn't last too long, or is at least kept between duos who know each other and can scream into each other's voice chat, while letting the rest of us blissfully go about our objective, capturing lives. That's pretty funny. It's pretty hilarious to watch the Human Torch throw the thing off of the side of a map. It never gets old. But anyway, that has been FinTV 123, the nerdy news you need to know about for Monday, July 28th, in the year of our Lord 2025. Thanks for joining me here at FinTV 123. I really do appreciate it. This is Finn, signing off.